Most people think rich people just buy whatever they want. More luxury, more convenience, more stuff. But the more I paid attention to how wealthy people actually live, the more I noticed something strange. A lot of them are not spending money on the same things the average person is still chasing. In fact, some of the things people work hardest to afford, wealthy people quietly avoid. So I interviewed a billionaire, and this is what she had to say. Not about what to buy more of, but about the things you should stop buying in 2026. If you actually want to build wealth, she told me something I have not been able to forget. Wealth is not built by looking rich. It is built by being hard to manipulate. And that changed how I saw everything. Because when she began listing the things she would never waste money on again, I realized this was not just about spending. It was about psychology, status pressure, convenience addiction, emotional spending, the invisible forces that decide where your money goes, before you even think. Listen to what she said.
If you want to keep your money, stop buying things designed to make you feel important for 5 minutes and broke for 5 months, because most products are not sold to improve your life. They are sold to trigger your emotions. First, stop buying trendy status items just because the internet told you they matter. I am talking about the bag everyone suddenly needs, the sneakers everyone suddenly wants, the gadget everyone suddenly posts. The problem is not the item. The problem is why you are buying it. A lot of people are not spending to enjoy. They are spending because they are afraid of feeling behind. And that fear is expensive because once you start trying to keep up, there is no finish line. There will always be something newer, something better, something more approved, and nothing drains your money faster than trying to prove you belong, in rooms that are not even paying you. You do not need a $300 emotional support water bottle collection. You do not need to upgrade your phone every year. You do not need outfits you only wear once for a photo. If the purchase disappears the moment the attention fades, it was never value. It was validation. Second, stop buying brand new cars you cannot comfortably afford. A car can be useful. A car can even be rewarding. But too many people are not buying a car. They are buying a monthly payment. They are buying a logo. They are buying approval. They are buying the feeling of arrival. And for a moment, it works. You feel successful. You feel seen. But 6 months later, the excitement fades. And what is left? The payment, the insurance, the fuel, the maintenance, still there every month. If buying something makes you feel powerful, but keeping it makes you financially anxious, it was never an asset to your life. It was pressure in disguise. And in a place like America, where large car payments are normalized, it becomes easy to confuse what is common with what is wise. Just because everyone is doing it does not mean it is not quietly draining them. Third, stop buying convenience like it is a lifestyle. I understand busy seasons. I understand grabbing takeout. But there is a difference between convenience and dependence. If your life runs on delivery apps, overpriced coffee, and random snacks at checkout lines, your money is not being spent. It is leaking, quietly, daily, because wealth is rarely lost in one big mistake. It disappears through small, repeated comforts. A $19 lunch does not feel dangerous. A $7 coffee feels harmless. Adding dessert feels like a reward. But stack those habits over time, and you will realize you have been funding a lifestyle that gives you momentary ease. But long-term pressure, repeated convenience can quietly become a second rent payment, and most people never notice, because each decision feels small. Fourth, stop buying cheap things that force you to buy again. Cheap furniture, cheap shoes, cheap chargers, cheap cookware, cheap bags. People think saving money means choosing the lowest price. But sometimes that is exactly how they spend the most, because what is cheap often comes with a hidden cost. It breaks faster. It performs worse. It needs replacing sooner. And now you are not just paying once. You are paying repeatedly. Poor buying habits are expensive. Thoughtful buying is cheaper over time, because buying 3 bad versions of something is often more expensive than buying 1 solid version once. The goal is not to spend less blindly. The goal is to spend once and move on. Fifth, stop buying self-improvement you never apply. Unused gym memberships, streaming services you forgot about, courses you never finished, apps quietly renewing every month. This is one of the most overlooked leaks because it feels productive. It feels like you are investing in yourself. But buying access is not the same as creating change. People love the feeling of buying a better future. But the truth is, Hope becomes expensive when it is automated, when you keep paying for things you are not using, you are not investing, you are delaying responsibility. Before you buy another tool, another course, another subscription, ask yourself one question. Did I fully use the last thing I paid for? Because if the answer is no, the problem is not what you need next. It is what you have not committed to yet. Sixth, stop decorating your life for imaginary visitors. A lot of people are not buying furniture because they love it. They are buying it because they want their life to look impressive. The perfect couch, the luxury dining setup, the apartment that photographs well, the decor that says, "I am doing well." And there is nothing wrong with beauty. But beauty becomes expensive when it is driven by performance, because now you are not building a home that serves you. You are building a stage set for other people's opinions. Social media has made normal living feel inadequate. Now people feel pressure to make every corner of their lives look curated, premium, and camera-ready. But if your home looks peaceful and your finances feel chaotic, that is not luxury. That is pressure dressed up as taste. Seventh, stop upgrading things that still work. Your phone works, your laptop works, your car works, your watch still tells time, your furniture still does its job. But modern marketing is brilliant at making people feel embarrassed by function. It tells you that working is not enough. Now it has to be newer, sleeker, smarter, more current, and suddenly something perfectly usable starts to feel outdated. Not because it failed you, but because someone convinced you it no longer reflects who you want to be. That is not need, that is identity pressure. If something still serves its purpose, you do not need to replace it just because the world moved on to a shinier version. A lot of spending happens when people confuse boredom with necessity. Eighth, and this is the deepest one, stop buying things to regulate emotions. Stress shopping, breakup shopping, bored shopping, reward shopping, sad shopping. This is where money disappears the fastest. Because the item is never the real desire. What you wanted was relief. What you wanted was comfort. What you wanted was control. What you wanted was a moment of emotional escape. And for a second, buying something gives you that. It gives you a lift, a shift, a small rush. But then the feeling fades, and you are left with the same emotion, plus a lighter wallet. No package at your door can fix a life you are avoiding. And one of the most expensive habits in the world is using money to medicate feelings you refuse to face. If you do not understand your emotional triggers, your wallet will always end up paying for your unhealed patterns. That's it, peace. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. It is very important to know that things you don't expect silently drains you, and you must start taking note of all the financial leakages that you have. Which one of these 8 things do you think people waste the most money on right now? And which one hit you personally? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoy videos that challenge how we think about money, habits, and real wealth, subscribe to The Wealth Mind, because sometimes the fastest way to get richer is not by earning more. It is by finally seeing what no longer deserves your money. Let me know in the comments what video you are expecting next. See you tomorrow.